Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Worcester School Committee. And if you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, National Anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We'll do a roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Here.
Member Biancaria?
Here.
Member Benenda? Member Guardiola?
Here.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Here.
Member Mailman?
Here.
Member McCullough?
Here.
Member Roy?
Here.
Mayor Petty?
Here. Okay, we have the consent agenda. Roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Benenda?
Yes.
Member Guardiola?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Mailman? Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Okay, we have held items. We have two held items. First one is G, and to review the process of honoring students of the Worcester Public Schools who achieve the highest grade point averages in their classes or who meet any other appropriate criteria that demonstrate outstanding academic achievement. School committee member Roy.
Oh, my microphone is among the missing here. So, anyway, I did a lot of research on this, and there's all kinds of reasons why we should do this. Honoring students who achieve the highest grade levels, point averages, or meet criteria for outstanding academic achievement is important for several reasons. One, it gives motivation and encouragement to recognize their academic excellence and inspires students to strive for high performance. Two is positive reinforcement. Public acknowledgement of achievement provides positive reinforcement, boosting students' confidence and self-esteem. And they become role models for their peers, especially when they tutor their peers. Their success can inspire others to want to do better. And it forges community engagement. By celebrating academic achievement, strengthens community pride for the districts to commit to fostering talent and preparing students for future success. So basically what I'm asking for is for us to consider to go back to honoring our high achievers, and I'm asking for recommendation for this to go to TLSS.
TLSS and not the administration first? We get a report back on it? Or TLSS? Okay. No administration. We should say no administration first? Okay. Okay. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Next item is to request that the administration update the committee on all anti-bullying initiatives and the impact it has had on our schools and whether additional programs need to be implemented. Member Roy?
Okay. Let me make sure I got it in my notes right. Bullying is such a danger to our children, and some statistics are showing in-school bullying is decreasing, which is awesome to hear, by 30 to 40%, but cyberbullying is up 72%. So I think it's important that we as a committee find out what we're doing exactly to be fostering anti-bullying at every cost we can. And I'm asking for this also to go to TLSS.
Okay. Those in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Through the chair, would that also go to administration first?
No, I think we can send either one. We do it both ways, so. Do you want in TLSS?
What's the difference, through the chair?
Sometimes we'll go to TLSS, and the administration will come in and have it in the subcommittee. I think I've argued that before. I think you might have objected with me arguing that before, so. Motions to send to TLSS? Those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Request that the administration continue to pursue grant monies to offer additional anti-bullying programs in our system. Member Roy?
So again, having done extensive research on this, I found quite a few programs that offer grants to set up programs in our schools for anti-bullying. Some of them, the deadlines to apply are coming up. So with your permission, I'd like to give this folder to Mr. Allen for consideration so we can apply for more grants.
Okay, so send that to the administration. Those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Request that the administration review the school committee, the physical education curriculum, and report on how it prepares students to be physically fit after graduating from high school.
As it reads.
Okay, send that to TLSS, I guess. All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. We have public comment. If any member from the public can address the committee regarding any item before the, on the agenda for up to 2 minutes. Just your names, the residence, and item number.
Yes, of course. Fred Nathan Worcester, item 5-94, the bullying. You know, let's face it, you know, there are kids in school who I'm sure are getting bullied. And Worcester has been exceptionally lucky in that no one has died from bullying except for a member of Member Johnson's family some 40-plus years ago. Worcester has been able to keep the lid on stuff. But that isn't always going to happen if the right elements are out there and there's bullying. And might I also say, we got to stop the bullying here in the school committee. Simple.
Is your names to your residence and item number?
Hi, good evening. My name is Dina Tedeschi. Excuse me. I am a Worcester resident. I'm also a parent of a Worcester Public School graduate and a current 8th grader. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Allen and his dedicated team for the hard work to make the first couple of weeks of school starting a good one. It's obvious. Thank you. Also, the Know Your School nights this year so far have been welcoming, inclusive, and resourceful, with many having community partners tabling to connect with caregivers, and this is really critical and welcoming for a lot of parents. I'd also like to comment on ROS 5-12. As a parent and community advocate, I'm excited to see this year's set of goals. I particularly appreciate the district improvement goal number 2 of growing your own and vision of a leader. The district should heartily continue to invest in this. We have a fabulous student population, and many of whom can and will be future educators, hopefully in our community and working with their former mentors, which I think would be really unique and special, and I'm sure that's already happened. For district improvement, goal number 3, it is absolutely critical to include parents and caregivers in the process, not only to hear their thoughts, but to ensure best understanding. Presenting this information at site councils, family and parent advisory councils, and PTOs would be invaluable and thorough throughout the process. And I want to give a shout out to Casey Starr, the Family and Community Engagement Team, and other staff members and the Pride Family Advisory Council for such an amazing show of support to march in the Pride Fest Parade. Thank you. And Member Mailman was there and Member Alvarez, and it was well appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing nobody else? Anybody online? Or can you see? Okay, so we'll close that part of the meeting. So we're going to go to the report of the superintendent. Superintendent Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to provide the proposed goals of the superintendent for the 25-26 school year. The goals align with the Massachusetts Superintendent Evaluation Process, have been written to be SMART goals, and have been aligned to the state's evaluation rubric. Upon approval of these goals by the school committee, the administration will provide a mid-cycle report in December and allow the school committee to provide feedback, and then end-of-cycle report at the end of the school year for the purpose of the school committee to conduct the annual summative evaluation. Overall, you will see that these goals span across all divisions and include the student learning goal, the professional practice goal, and 3 district improvement goals. I will also share other high-level areas of focus for the district this year. For the student learning goal, I propose the goal to be to increase the percentage of students meeting or exceeding benchmark on STAR reading at end of the year, grades 2 through 9, from 33% to 36%, and math at end of year, grades 1 through 9, from 33 to 36%. We believe a 3 percentage point increase is realistic given targeted instructional strategies, data-driven interventions, and ongoing progress monitoring throughout the school year. This goal aligns with the strategic plan's key priorities, equitable resources and programs, AIM 1, and family and community engagement, AIM 2. This goal also aligns with 3 standards, instructional leadership, management and operations, and family and community engagement, and 5 indicators within the superintendent evaluation rubric. For the professional practice goal, I propose the goal to be to increase the percentage of collaborative teams, PLCs, department grade level teams, and school-based leadership teams, implementing the collaborative teaming structures with fidelity from 0% baseline, and our new district-wide initiative, to 70% of teams district-wide by end of the year, as measured by the district collaborative teaming reflection tool and district progress monitoring protocols. Professor and researcher John Hattie emphasizes collaborative teaming as one of the most impactful strategies for improving student learning, driven by collective teacher efficacy, the shared belief among teachers that they can positively influence student outcomes. This efficacy is built through collaborative teams, analyzing evidence of their own collective impact, developing common understanding of student growth, sharing expertise, and focusing on shared high expectations rather than just curriculum or resources. While we know that schools have used PLCs and department and grade level teams for many years, a focus of our equity-based budgeting process was to allow for resources to increase collaborative teaming in schools, and this work will now be tracked and measured by schools through agenda use, data protocols, progress tracking, and clear action steps. This goal aligns with strategic plan key priority, equitable resources and programs, AIM 1 and 3. This goal also aligns with 3 standards, instructional leadership, management and operations, and family and community engagement, and 5 indicators within the superintendent evaluation rubric. The first district improvement goal is around a communication strategy. I propose the goal to be, by June 2026, the district will implement a unified communication framework. This initiative will streamline staff updates, enhance family and community outreach through diverse formats, and ensure all messaging is consistent with the vision to action. The effectiveness of this framework will be assessed through surveys and audits. 2 of the guiding principles of my entry plan are unified leadership and transparency. We are working to improve internal communications throughout the district, ensuring our message is consistent across departments and that the work aligns with the vision to action strategies. Our work on external communications will focus on enhancing family and community outreach through diverse platforms in a streamlined manner. This goal aligns with strategic plan priority family and community engagement, AIMS 1 and 2. This goal also aligns with family and community engagement and 5 indicators within the standard of the superintendent evaluation rubric. The second district improvement goal focuses on the Grow Your Own initiative and vision of a leader. I propose the goal to be to design and implement a 5-year Grow Your Own pipeline and pathway, inclusive of community partnership and concrete pathways. By June 2026, WPS will recruited its first cohort of 15 to 20 high school juniors and seniors who will commit to a WPS future teacher pipeline through a promise commitment signatory, as well as complete the first early college course for the program. The WPS has access to a high-quality pool of future teachers represented in our student body population. Therefore, a structured, supportive, intentional program with commitments is key to developing future educators. We know that many of our current staff members attended the Worcester Public Schools. Rather than solely relying on external programs for the recruitment of our future teachers, we can develop a sustainable program that leverages early college and new pathway opportunities to engage and retain Worcester students in a teaching career. This goal aligns with strategic plan's key priority to acquire and retain talent, aims 1 and 3. The goal also aligns with 3 standards of the superintendent evaluation rubric: management and operations, family and community engagement, and professional culture. The third district improvement goal focuses on school boundary and quadrant alignment. I propose the goal to be to complete and implement a realignment of school boundaries that reduces overcrowding in at least 90% of schools currently over capacity and increases utilization of under-enrolled schools to at least 90% of building capacity. Based on the comprehensive analysis of student enrollment trends, program placements, feeder programs, and the citywide magnet designations, ensuring programming aligns with each building's capacity by June 2027. The overall goal is a 2-year objective, but we have identified measurable steps for this year, including completing a set of scenarios ready for public review and input leading into next year. The goal to realign school boundaries to address issues of overcrowding and underutilization of existing buildings. This process will involve a comprehensive analysis of student enrollment data, program placements, and the school designations. The goal aligns with the strategic plan key priorities: equitable resources and programs, aims 1 and 3, family and community engagements, aims 1 and 3, and modernized and safe facilities, aim 2. This goal also aligns with management and operations, as well as family and community engagement standards of the superintendent rubric. These 5 goals are not the only priority areas for the district for the year. Connected with the strategic plan, we have formed working groups to study the launch of culturally responsive instruction, which is currently in a pilot at 2 schools. Additionally, work is underway on district alignment through the reformatted of district leadership meetings, the rollout of training and information around restorative practices, and the rollout of Vision of a Leader initiative. Teams are also working on improvements to our admissions-based programs, the use of artificial intelligence by staff and students, elementary screen time, elementary time on learning in accordance with state requirements, evening programs for adult learners, and site council development at schools. Teams are also working on refining our after-school model in Spark Academies through district resources or community partners. And finally, teams are working on several initiatives: the future of Chapter 74 and CTE programs in the district, a 5-year elementary library plan, continued work on our equity-based budget model, and the continued expansion of the Vision of a Learner. The goals in these focus areas are ambitious, but essential for our students, staff, and families. Some of this work will involve input from a variety of stakeholders, may require policy changes from the school committee, and in many cases, resources through the budget process. With that, we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Member Guardiola?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to Mr. Superintendent. That was a great presentation. I think there's a lot of good things that came out of this with your goals and your initiatives here. Specifically on goal number 2, grow your own in the vision of a leader. I think it's a great idea. I think it builds a pipeline for us to be able to have future teachers here, and we haven't grown within. Obviously, the early college is a great incentive and a really good initiative, so they can get that going right away. I guess my question for that goal is: are there any chance of on-site learning, internship opportunities, especially, obviously it'd probably be a little difficult to have internships with peers of your age, but I'm talking about maybe some elementary school on-site learning, or maybe sometimes during the summer, so they can get that hands-on experience that I think is really vital to growing and learning firsthand.
Through the chair, that's something we certainly will consider as we start to build out this program.
Yep.
Our anticipation is that the first cohort of students will be in that early college class in the spring semester. So as we start to develop it over the next couple of years, we certainly can fold that into that conversation.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's I think an opportunity there to be able to, again, have that hands-on learning that in other industries that we do, and especially with the Chapter 74 programs and the CTE stuff, I think this is an opportunity as well to have some help and work right on within our own school system. So thank you. And then on goal number 3, at the alignment of the school boundaries and districts, I think it's a great idea. I think as the city continues to grow and different neighborhoods continue to grow, I think you're starting to see that there is overcrowding, especially in the neighborhood districts for our elementary schools, our middle schools. I think people are starting to grow. Obviously, you're kind of bound by your districts in general, but I think it gives the opportunity for more opportunities to have less students in one class at all times. And again, as we, neighborhoods are going to continue to grow. Obviously, the Canal District has grown over the last 10 years, right? The Vernon Hill District, my district up there, that's growing at a exponential rate as well. And more people are coming to the city. So I think it's a great initiative, and I'm excited to see how that folds out. But thank you again for the presentation.
Thank you, Member Biancaria, followed by Member Mailman, followed by Member McCullough. And I think
Thank you. I'm very excited to say I'm going to piggyback on my colleague here for Chapter 74 and any CTE programs that can expand. I'm certainly open to. I think it's a great way to do it. And we've talked about teachers and positions in education that we, ironically enough, we bring in many career opportunities for our interns that are interested in our classrooms. There's presentations, and very seldom do we say anyone in education has a vision and can then be a leader. The great thing about what we have right now in our system and we've had in the past is that a career path does not limit them to being a teacher, does not limit them to being a principal. We have many positions in administration that originally that particular career path was in a school, but now it is in administration. And that, I think, is some of the stars that we don't look at. So to be able to bring that to the table, I think, is a great idea, along with the fact that it's a vision that we needed to show our concern about what we need to focus on in the areas, and I think we're going to have that ability to do that with bringing this on. So I certainly congratulate you on expanding what we would look at as professional goals, as the strategic part of what we're doing. In goal setting is one of the pieces that brings us to success, and we're able to measure our success. And there's been times over the last few years that when you are looking to measure success, it was looked at as though you don't necessarily want to compare. Well, as we move forward, we're going to have to measure our success, because that is the only way we are knowing whether we're improving, what needs to expand, what needs to be reviewed again to improve. And this will show us some really good measurements, so I thank you for that work.
Thank you. Member Mailman?
Thank you. District 2 improvement goal, grow your vision and leader. You say who will commit to WPS future teacher pipeline through a promise commitment signatory. What does that mean?
I'm going to have Dr. Koo answer that.
Dr. Q?
Thank you, and through the chair. Last spring, you heard me talk about the promise that was made through a report from 2020, and we took that and really looked at knowing that for many of our students, we want for them to commit, to understand, but it's also a family commitment, that the families need to commit their promise to taking the 4 years to getting a college degree in order to come back and teach. So the promise commitment is really about saying that we recognize that we have to do this for a better future. So because we talked a lot, for many of our first generation families, sometimes they have to choose between going to school or going to work. And what we want to provide is a promise to say we commit to you if you commit to us. And so that's what that means, that it's a whole community promise. So it's more than just the students committing. It's about families committing the students to this. It's about our partners committing to this, and about us committing to students to say there is an end goal to this.
Is it about money?
That is through the chair. We are working on that piece, so it could possibly be about money, but it's really the commitment is if we see this through, there is a goal at the end of this that you do have a position here with the Worcester Public Schools.
I think it's a great idea, but it doesn't really say anything to me so far yet about, like, I get the general thing, but, I mean, if I'm a family, so are the schools gonna help back my loan? I don't know. I mean, but I think at the end of the day, it's about money. And I also think that that when kids make decisions and at 14 or 15 to this kind of it's their best guess, and it's the family's best guess. But I mean, I'm in favor of this work. I think we should be trying to create the cohort from within, but I just kind of so what is measurable here is the number of students that we will have in this, and it sounds like the program maybe has to be a little further defined. Is that fair?
So through the chair, that is fair. As we're developing this, we want to have a commitment of between 15 to 20 students who will begin with an early college course this spring. We know that for every year we wait, we're pushing out a year, but to answer your question, the hope is that as we build up this program, that students will be able to access their college for a minimal amount of money.
And through the chair, I know the state has granted apprenticeships in teaching there's a particular district, and I feel like it's on the North Shore somewhere, and that's worthy of us trying to figure out how gateway cities could maybe attach some of that, because I think that the apprenticeship model would be super terrific in this district as well. And the second question I have is on page 54 or page 13, however, it's 13 of slides, 54 in the document. You talk about, I think this quadrant and boundary stuff is hugely important. I think we got delayed last year. I hope that we're not going to be further delayed this year, because we got issues and we got to get to the end of it. So you talk about develop scenarios. This is for June of 2026, next June. Develop scenarios in collaboration with the realignment committee. Who is the realignment committee?
Through the chair, so it's an administrative committee that we've put together, but we're also finalizing an RFP to bring in a consultant that has worked in other districts, that has gone out and solicited public feedback through the process, right? So they're skilled at doing public feedback forums and putting all that information together. So as we're developing recommendations that will ultimately come to the school committee, we've engaged principals, staff, families in that process, but ultimately we have many different departments representing that committee from led by Ms. Consalvo, but it will be teaching and learning, IT folks, facilities folks, transportation. There's a whole host of folks that are looking at the impacts of either changing boundaries or quadrant assignments, or where programs are located and so forth, because there's impacts throughout the district based on those recommendations.
And so through the chair, I mean, I think a core realignment committee makes a ton of sense, and committees of 400 is not probably your goal, and so I would make a motion through the chair that when a realignment committee is picked, that we're informed about who's on the realignment committee. And then just a general, when you put your goals together for this year, what were some decision points that you made? A little bit of your thinking about how you came down on some of these things. What what we had last year, or maybe even in other years that you thought about but decided to hold on? Or can you share some of your thinking about how you put these goals together?
Superintendent?
Certainly. So as it relates to the student learning goal, we had a STAR goal last year. I think we simplified the way we're going to be measuring that for this year, looking at that 3% growth in both reading and math for this year. Very simple way to, but using STAR data, we believe is the right tool to use. With regards to the professional practice goal, again, we invested in the equity budget process of collaborative teams, and so we thought to show that investment in resources, we should include that in our goals. And then really through cabinet work this summer, we've identified a bunch of focus areas for the district, and then we picked 3 of those to align with the goals, 1 in human resources, 1 in finance and operations, and 1 in communication. So there's a goal that's impacting all of our divisions, from teaching and learning, both the student learning goal and the professional practice goals, and then each of the other divisions have a goal assigned to them as well.
Okay. And did you, was there, I just, like, this is the first time you've done it. Was it different than you expected it to be? Was because you've been sitting on the sidelines for so long, you kind of like, oh yeah, we'll just do these, and, you know?
So I don't consider it to be new to me, because I've been part of the district administration for 25 years. So
Yeah.
maybe we've done it differently in the past.
Yeah.
But really what we looked at is what work do we need to accomplish?
Yep.
And that's why I listed the other focus areas. It's not just those 5 goals we're working on. We're
Right.
working on a whole bunch of things, but we have to submit something for the evaluation process. And so those are the 5 goals we selected for the purposes of my evaluation this year.
Okay, thank you.
Member McCullough?
Thank you. I really don't have many questions. I just want to thank you for this. I know that's something when we look at the pipeline development, I think that's an excellent goal to continue working on. I know that it's something that has been a conversation we've had for many years, and I remember sitting, and I think Maureen, Member Benendo, was a part of this group at the time too. We were sitting at Worcester State, and one of the things I remember saying is we need to not only encourage students to understand that it's an achievable goal, but a desirable goal for them to go into education. And I think the more that we continue to work on diversifying our staff as well, so students are seeing themselves reflected in their staff members, that is going to go a long way to helping us develop that pipeline for our own homegrown students to go into education. I appreciate the work done around the district alignment. It's something I know that several of us have brought up over the last few years, knowing that so many of our schools are feeling that pinch of the overcrowding. And when we're looking at the new Burncoat, hopefully that's all playing into that and what that capacity will be for what we're looking at with the new Burncoat buildings. And as well as when we look at the Chapter 74 programs, that's part of that process too. When we're looking at not only that, I know we've talked about the Chapter 74 programs and adding those on at Burncoat, but also when we're looking at our alternative programs too. So that's something, you know, we see more of. So thank you for the goals. I look forward to working together, and certainly I'm sure I'll be asking questions along the way.
Member Benendo?
Yes, thank you for the goals. I just had a few questions. So the first one is on student learning goal. I greatly appreciate that you're doing the end of year for the STAR. So my question is it, and I hope it's the end of year from the grade before to the end of year, the current grade?
To the chair, yes.
Perfect. I'm not sure if everybody here on the school committee understands on how assessment should be done. And that was my argument before, is that we weren't doing it the way that we should be doing it, which is end of year to end of year. So I want to personally thank you for giving that, because that will actually show us student growth and in the areas that we really need to focus on. So I greatly appreciate that. The other thing that I was happy to see is about Grow Your Own. And actually, the Worcester Future Teachers started in Worcester in 1980. And it was in every single high school. There was an advisor. Those people got paid to grow future teachers. And in those days, we did grow future teachers. Eventually, it only ended up at South High Community School. I was the advisor for the Worcester Future Teachers. We didn't get paid, we volunteered our time. And what I really like about it is that personal connection you have with the students. And our connection was Worcester State University, which, as we all know, is a strong connection for the Worcester Public Schools. So your Worcester future teachers that were accepted went there free of charge, right? Worcester State paid for their tuition. And the promise was that upon graduation, we would hire them in the Worcester Public Schools. So I'm thankful to see that's back here. My guess is that we only offered it to 2 students a year, got the free tuition from Worcester State, because obviously it's a financial challenge for them too. And the reason that the program ended is that school committee years ago, during budget times, actually cut the budget for, it was a $10,000 a year budget to $5,000 a year, and that was our students in the Worcester Future Teachers got to go to Worcester State University, stay over there for a week, and learned how to do lesson plans, and really learned how to get, before early college, initiated into the college experience, got to know all the people there so that when they went to Worcester State, they felt comfortable there. And then, of course, that got cut and during budget cuts, and Worcester State came up with the other $5,000, and the program had continued. So I'm very happy to see that we're doing this again, and that I don't know if it will be in every high school or there'll just be one group that will meet somewhere, I'm assuming after school. I was thinking that it's a good connection to where our 74 programs are, because those students in the 74 are learning to be teachers, mostly for early childhood. But it would be great to be able to expand that where you already have the 74s. And then also, I really liked the program that we did start a few years ago with the paraprofessionals. I hope that some way we're able to look for funding for that. I mean, they did get a break on their tuition with the state program that was available. We hired 5 retired teachers, and they worked with our paras because they hadn't been in school for very long, it had been a long time since they'd been at school, and they needed that support. And you do have, right now, teachers of color that went through the para program and are teachers in the Worcester Public Schools. We even went so far as to allowing the paras to still get paid as paras and do their student teaching in their classrooms that they were paras in. So they got the hours, and they got their certification. And in a case, we had one teacher, one para, who was at the New Citizen Center, and they wanted to be a biology teacher. So we switched. South High teacher went down, South High para went down to New Citizen Center, and the one came up and was a para in a biology classroom and got certified. So I hope that we're looking at those other areas too, because our paras are dedicated to our schools. They're not going anywhere. A lot of them have many years' experience with us. They live in the area. They have great relationship with students, and they just need that opportunity to be able to get those classes almost, if they could, for free, and then the opportunity to do the internships in our schools. So I really want to say I like your format of your goals, how you align it to the rubric. So on the right is the DESE rubric for superintendents. And Mr. Allen only really didn't have to do all the indicators, but he did more indicators than he needed to. So I just want to thank him for that too, because it shows that he is really working hard and wanting to make a difference here. So thank you.
Thank you. Member Alvarez?
I just wanted to make a comment about the student learning goal. So on the floor right now, we do have one of our scholars, Arson, and he's very eager to learn. So I'm wondering if you're able to, through the chair, to the superintendent, if you're able to explain to him and other students or parents who are watching what this student learning goal means, how and why this was identified, what is STAR, and how how were these percentages identified?
Superintendent?
Through the chair, so we provide STAR testing, which is likely indicator of how students will perform on MCAS. And that testing that we're using is grades 2 through 9 and 1 through 9 in reading and in math. And so I'm not sure how many classrooms I went into in the last month that I've interrupted STAR testing during my site visits, but so the schools were working hard on the beginning of year test. They'll do a mid-year and then an end of year test. And what it shows is the number of students that are meeting or exceeding benchmark in each of those areas. And at the end of last year, we were at 33%. We know we have a long way to go. If 33% of our students were meeting or exceeding benchmark. So we've got a long way to go, but we believe a 3% growth to 36% at the end of this year is showing modest increase. And if we can sustain that level of increase year over year, then we'll get sufficient number of students to where we need to be. We were measuring that differently in the past, but I think this is a straightforward way to just to say 33% of our students at the end of last year were meeting or exceeding benchmark in reading and math, and our goal is to get that to 36%. That's hard work. We give, I think, 17,000 STAR tests per year, and so just think of the number of students, the number of new students in the district, and so a 3% growth is a heavy lift for the district, but because of the resources, the instructional practices, the work that is being done in the schools, we believe it's a realistic goal to set for this year.
Thank you, and I'm wondering if I'm able to ask Arsen if he has any questions for you directly, based off of what you just said.
Sure.
As of right now, I don't have any questions, but if I have any questions, I can let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All set? All right, thank you. All set? All right. Yeah. So the motion would be to approve the superintendent's goals for 25-26 school year. Roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Benenda?
Yes.
Member Guardiola?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Mailman?
Yes.
Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Okay. So moving on to L, report of the standing committees, FOG. Member McCullough.
Thank you, through the chair. So FOG met on 9/8. We filed item GB 5-35, which was to fully fund special chorus at Worcester Arts Magnet School as it was part of the budget discussion. Then next was GB 5-70, to amend school rules to add a rule regarding proper procedure should a tie vote occur on an item in a standing committee. And we sent that to the legal department for an opinion. And then the final item was to retake the Haas grant item, but that is going to be sent back to FOG after a public meeting is posted to have that meet procedural requirements. So as of right now, that has, even though at the motion was to accept the grant was approved after we got the feedback from that committee, to meet the procedural requirements, that will be going back to FOG.
Thank you. And TLSS? Member Guardiola?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. TLSS met on September 11, 2025. We had two items on the agenda, GB 5-70, high school mastery-based grading practice information, proposed mastery-based grading practices, written policy. Again, this was sent down because obviously we have a timeline on this. On a motion to hold, it was approved 3-1. Our second item was GB 5-61, a request to request a report on the number of students in the American Sign Language ASL program in 2023-2024 and how to expand the program as a career pathway by working with local hospitals and other institutions in need of this service. That was approved on a motion and approved 4-0 and filed. That is the report on TLSS.
Thank you. Motion to file. Those opposed? No, so ordered. So we'll move on to N, approval of grants and other finance items. You want to speak on this?
I did. I wanted to speak on the minutes of the FOG meeting.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to make clear to the public that we had an open meeting law request on the Haas item. So through the chair to the chair of FOG, this would be correct that we will, on any naming committee, that will be a public meeting that will be required.
Through the chair, procedurally, naming committees will be public meetings, yes.
Okay, so going forward, so that's part of, and that will be through the chair. Will that be amended in our naming committee requirements?
No, because it's part of the procedure, so it will just be like a public body.
So we'll just make sure we follow that. Thank you.
Correct administration is already on top of that.
Thank you.
All set? So we're approve and file that. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. So approval of grants and other finance items. Roll call.
Member Alvarez.
Can you please repeat that?
We're looking to approve a grant and other finance items in.
Got it, thank you, yes.
Member Biancaria.
Yes.
Member Benenda.
Yes.
Member Guardiola.
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson.
Yes.
Member Mailman.
Yes.
Member McCullough.
Yes.
Member Roy.
Yes.
Mayor Petty.
We'll move on to O, general business. Request administration provide the student discipline data for 2024-25, including all offenses. Member Biancaria.
Thank you for the report. The recommendation here is to file. What I'm asking is this go to FOG for more discussion. When you look at some of these numbers, I have some concerns. Safety is a top priority in our schools, in our system, whether it be with our students, our staff, the actual buildings, and I think we need to have some more discussion once we look at what the numbers are on this. So I ask that this be sent to FOG instead of file.
Anyone else? So the motion is to, Member Alvarez?
I do just want to make a comment around some of the things that I saw. For example, when it comes to bullying, harassment, I did see a decrease. Oh, excuse me, no, I read that wrong, sorry. When it comes to, where did it go? There are some of these that directly are a result of whether it's fighting or carrying an object that can hurt someone, whether it's a handgun, knife, or other firearm. I did notice there was a decrease in some of those, so I did just want to make sure that I made this comment, made that aware, like brought that to awareness that even though this does look like a large number at the bottom, there are a few decreases between last year to this year, specifically with carrying weapons and dangerous objects.
Thank you. So I just, so we're sending this to FOG. Would that be the right, I don't know if that would be the right committee to send to. And you're looking to have further discussion in regards to what, and I'm just trying to.
I would like to not only review the numbers that have increased, but the numbers that have decreased. And this is a review of what our policies and so on would be. So I ask that it go to FOG, because we would have to then look at programs that need some financial help, whether it be with bullying or safety presentations that we have in our schools and so on. So my concern is that the finance and operations and government would be the appropriate place at this particular time to discuss those numbers and what we need to do.
So motion to send that to FOG. Let's take a roll call on that.
Member Alvarez?
No.
Member Biancaria?
I'm sorry, hold on one second. Member Roy? I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. As I'm going through this list, safety is also one of my biggest concerns. Some of the numbers that have gone up are quite serious offenses, especially physical assault of an employee, fighting among students. I really think we need to take a really decisive look at this and see what we can do as a body. And I agree that I think it should go to FOG. Thank you.
So let's take a roll call on that, please.
Member Alvarez?
No.
Member Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Benenda?
Yes.
Member Guardiola?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
No.
Member Mailman?
No.
Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
So GB 5-100, to review the independent accountant's report on applying agreed upon procedures for the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education into the school year for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Motion is to send that to FOG. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. So from administration, to review the annual audit and agreed upon procedures report on the compliance and the internal controls for the city of Worcester, including the Worcester Public Schools, which includes the Government Accountability Office and the Office of Management and Budget. 8-133 reports on the management letter for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Motion is to send that to FOG. And from administration, to review the report on applying agreed upon procedures of student activity fund testing for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. The motion is to go to FOG. So, Member Benenda?
Could someone just explain what the student activity fund testing is? Is that for AP testing? What is that fund? What is a student activity fund testing?
To the chair, it's the audit of all of the student activity accounts in the district.
Thank you.
So the motion for all three of those is to send that to FOG. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. So we move on to GB 5-103, to provide an update on the technology committee, including software and acquisition policy and the process structure around time on devices, especially at the elementary level, and when AI use is allowed and when it is not. Member Mailman?
Thank you. I think this was another committee that was delayed last year, and I had met with Sarah Karatzis this summer, or the very end of the school year, and know that hopefully this is like in process to begin in September. I think that was their goal. I think this is such important work right now, especially around the AI issues in education and around our readiness for this. It's another area where I feel like I wish we had our own attorney so that we could be faster at responding to some of these things that might come up contractually. And I want to make sure that that committee has, you know, the critic, that there are one or two critics, because I know technology committees are excited about doing the new stuff and all that kind of thing. And I think there's a lot for us to be paying attention to in this fast-moving place. So I'd encourage us through the chair to the superintendent to make sure that we have some critical thinkers in this group, and if he can offer any thoughts right now about our timeline. Are we starting for September? Where are we at?
Mr. Superintendent?
Through the chair, so as part of the report of the superintendent on that last slide, the other focus areas that were not included in the goals were both AI use and elementary screen time. So that is committee work that we're doing as part of our district leadership work this year. And we've said from the outset that we know AI is something that we need to address authentically and ethically within the district, both students and staff. So that's something that this committee will be working on, and then also looking at appropriate levels of elementary screen time. So both of those items were listed on the slide as focus areas for this year.
Okay, and has that work begun? It's September.
So we're just forming these teams now. So that work will be going on starting essentially now through, some of those focus areas are going to take longer than others. And so that work is commencing.
Thank you.
All set, so we're sending that to administration. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. GB 5104, to revisit the opportunity to utilize climate and culture staff or other staff, particularly at the beginning of the school year, to help set behavioral expectations on buses that have a need. Parents petitioned in 2023 with many good ideas, which included policy recommendations for a number of students on buses, addressing overcrowding buses, assisting drivers with safety concerns, etc. Member Mailman?
Through the chair, thank you. This is a follow-up. I mean, as we all know that have served for a while, most of the items that come before us are items that have come before us many times before, and certainly, you know, bus behavior, bus struggles at the beginning of the year is no different this year than other years. And we were not able to move forward with some kind of monitor on some of the buses because of financial considerations 2 years ago. I'm wondering if there's a way to be more flexible with our climate and culture people, because, and I learned this by knocking on doors and talking with some drivers that work for us that suggested maybe that there was a way to help on the buses that are having issues, which are probably the same 5 or 10 or whatever the number is. Can we look at this in a way that might be flexible, not assigning monitors for the entire year, but a roving monitor? I'm making these terms up. I think it seems worthy that we want to encourage families to use our transportation, and I think that anything that we can do to show the families that we're trying to make our buses safe, and that to teach kids how to behave on a bus that maybe have not taken them before would be helpful.
Through the chair, if I can, I think we work closely with the building principals on issues when they arise on student discipline. Bus drivers cannot issue discipline on buses, but principals can, and often principals ride buses, assistant principals, other faculty of the school have ridden buses when needed. And so we do rely on the school staff to assist on some of those issues as they occur. Whether it's climate and culture staff assigned to that school, that's something we can explore with principals, but they're generally assigning people to the school that we best, usually it's the principal riding the bus to particular bus stops. So we certainly can look at other options. We think in terms of overcrowding on buses will be significantly improved once we get the software system in place where students can scan in and off of buses. We get instant information on ridership levels, and we can quicker respond to those overcrowding issues, which may lead to other issues on the bus.
Okay. So through the chair, this item is going to administration, and you'll come back at some point and let us know how we're addressing some of these concerns.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question? Has there been any major concerns with buses this school year with overcrowding? Like, how are we with buses?
Through the chair, there's been pockets of overcrowding. It always happens at the high school level. As soon as we know about those, we try to redeploy buses to alleviate those, so they won't be overcrowded. First couple of weeks is always tough, and then we address it by rebalancing loads.
Thank you.
That's an annual, yeah, it's an annual issue.
Yeah. Member B and Carey?
Thank you. I would ask that administration, when you look at this item, I think it's terrific. I know that the principals and assistant principals have participated. I know that we are looking at monitors that are on our school bus routes presently. And I would be curious on the number of monitors we have presently within our system, if that's possible to get that information to us. I don't.
Through the chair, we can get the exact number, but it's roughly 100 because we run just over 100 mid-size bus routes, so they're on the midsize and wheelchair buses only. That's been our past practice. We can get the exact number, but we're running about 100 routes, so about 100 monitors.
So we presently have people that are, staff members that are on the buses that are looking at these kids.
Through the chair, again, it's on the midsize and the wheelchair buses only, not big buses.
Okay. So then the principals and the assistant principals, you would say that they're manning the, when necessary, the big buses?
Through the chair, yes.
Okay. So I would ask that you would look to continue that practice and perhaps open the communication a little more if need be. But I certainly am not one that would want to see climate and culture people on our buses. Right now, when we look at the statistics that we receive for 24, 25, in the variation of numbers under discipline, I want them in our schools. I want them in our hallways. I want them working with our kids close in our schools, in our staff, in our schools. As far as buses are concerned, I'm open to a variety of ideas that administration can come across. Perhaps we can find some funding, move some money around, and have some additional monitors when absolutely necessary on the buses, or maybe monitors that rotate bus routes on a regular basis. That might be a way. But as a school committee member, I'm looking at the big picture and saying that right now, the climate and culture are needed right in our school buildings, not on our buses. So I would appreciate any avenues that you have for ideas, but I certainly am not leaning towards having those staff members then take on the job of being on the buses. Thank you.
So we will send this to administration. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. To request that administration work with the city clerk on the possibility of phasing out WPS buildings being used as polling locations. Member McCullough?
Thank you. You know, I did file this item after receiving some comments from concerned parents around this. I do realize that it is a challenge for the city to find polling locations, and obviously I know most of us probably remember our schools being polling locations growing up and it actually bringing excitement around voting, but I also understand safety concerns. So not necessarily having to be phasing out, but if administration can just work with the city clerk so we really ensure that if it is necessary that the school is secure, because that seems to be the concern that I'm hearing from parents. So I just ask that administration work with the city for whatever remedy that is to ensure that those buildings are safe on voting day.
Through the chair, if I can just respond quickly, but we'll work with the city clerk in more detail on that. But we speak to the city clerk frequently during the election, the polling times. And so, as you know, we actually have rearranged staff development days in November and March to coincide with any elections that occur during that time. And then in September, when there may be primaries, they do assign additional police coverage to the 5 schools that have polling locations. So we do work closely with the city clerk. We'll have continued conversations with him as well.
Thank you very much.
So that's an ongoing thing. Can we just file that, or you still want to?
We can file it, and if, as long as administration gets us something back in a Friday letter, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. So motion to file. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. And thank you. Motion to adjourn.